This is what your parents have done to you. There's a lot of guys or boys or young men that have been raised in households. Your mother and father got together. Your mother chose the wrong one to have a child with because that goes back to her choice of men. And that goes back to what her father and her mom taught her. She chose someone that was not going to be in her world. And the only way that you can articulate that or understand that, especially if you've been damaged as a young man, I want you to take a look at that process in which I've described to you. You have your mom. She made a poor decision to get with your father. Now, she primarily keeps you. The chances are you may see your father often or not, but it's not enough because he should be in the household with you, and you deserve that as a human being. But just based off the fact that your mother made a bad decision in her choice of humans or men, now you're suffering. I know you chose not to suffer, but your mom made the decision to make you suffer. And ultimately, that's a selfish move on her part. So when you grow up as a young man without the guidance of a male, you don't know how to function as a man. Mom is going to be there, and in most cases, she'll make you into the man of the house. You find yourself, of course, doing a lot of things that adults would do. And mom tends to steal that childhood away from you because if she has another child, which normally that does happen, you're going to be raising that child while she's going to work. So you're going to be cleaning the house. You're going to be taking care of that child. And don't let a scenario which has happened in the past that I've experienced with another gentleman that I know, if she goes to jail, which this happened, and the 18-year-old son has had to bail her out a multitude of times. And the mom's in her 40s, mid 40s, almost near 50. The burden is being laid down on the young man who has yet to actually become a man, but he's taking care of adult responsibilities. And those things happen to a lot of kids nowadays, but that goes back to the main person that I'm referring to, your parents. Your parents have made the decision to put you in that chaotic or that problematic position in which you're in, so you never evolve as a man. And nor can she raise you to make you a man because simply she's a woman. She didn't have those capabilities. So that's why when you see households that are ran with one man, one woman, no outside children, that's another scenario in which I'll talk about in other videos. But when you see that household that, of course, that has the dynamic of man, woman, and child, and I'm saying a functioning household, that child is going to grow up with a different knowledge or a different process or a different formula on what it means to go out into the world and function with men and women, because he has that balance in his house. But for the young men and young women that grew up in a household that did not have it, you're going to grow up in situations where you're going to have to sometimes fend for yourself because your mom didn't have the knowledge. So therefore, you're not going to have the knowledge. So which makes it really difficult for you to actually to navigate out here in this world as it relates to interacting with humans. Because I know that no one wants to be alone. And I'm sure you don't want to be alone. But the formula that your mom successfully gave to you mentally has totally separated you from individuals on a successful relationship status. Look at your mom or even pose a question to your mom. Because when you pose that question, Mom, why is dad not in your life? And why don't I have an actual household that has man and woman in it, or you and my dad in it? She should give you an answer. But if she starts to actually communicate about your father in a negative way, basically you're not going to get any answers, because sensibly she does not know how to articulate her thoughts on that man that she actually thought enough to actually lay down with and make you. He was that important at that time to lay down with your mom because she chose to do that and make you. Look at those scenarios in which you're raised in. And when you look at them, have an understanding of it and pose the question to the adults around you, because you deserve it. You deserve an understanding.